Cindy adds to that, I appreciate Mr. Armstrong for making physics somewhat tolerable. Next is Mr. Bellers, honored by Victoria Jaffe, Grace Grabowski, and Gigi Paulina. Says Victoria, Mr. Bellers is my favorite teacher, probably by far. He may not know everything, but I just enjoy being in his presence. He's a total goat and always knows how to keep me engaged in class. Grace adds to that, Mr. Bellers is an amazing teacher. I know he will be there for me no matter what, and I can come talk to him with anything. I'm able to understand history in his class. Thanks for everything, Mr. Bellers. Gonna miss you next year. And Gigi says, Mr. Bellers has always been a teacher that I could count on. His class was one of the few that I always felt comfortable in, and now I always keep him up to date on the high school gossip. So word to the wise, don't tell Gigi your secrets. I really appreciate the care and focus that he puts into each of his students. Thank you, Mr. Bellers. I'll miss you.
So they're doing teacher appreciation here, and just started just before we could get the broadcast going.
Mrs.
So
Wilkening,
this is the third
by Bella Cole and Sophia Jimenez. Bella says Mrs. Wilkening is extremely passionate about what she does. She makes even the most difficult subject interesting and fun. It's so special how she makes sure each and every one of her students are taken care of. Thank you for always pushing us to do our best. Sophia says Mrs. Wilkening is a caring teacher who devotes extra time outside of school to help her students fully understand the material. Her class is always fun and interactive. I'm so glad I had her as my AP Bio teacher this year. Mrs. Cole by Adriana Kennedy, Lily Whitcomb, and Sarah Huff. And Coach Zach. Adriana says, Ms. Cole is my absolute favorite teacher. She's so understanding and just so genuine. She's the best person to go to about anything. She means a lot to me. Lindsay says Mrs. Cole is the most understanding teacher. It amazes me how she's willing to do so much for her students, despite her extremely busy schedule. She's the only math teacher to ever help me understand math. It's obvious that she cares for her students. And Sarah says she's the reason that I go to school still, and the reason I chose my major for college, showing me how fun mathematics can be. Mrs. Vale. Lizzie Dowley says, Mrs. Vale is an enthusiastic and entertaining teacher. Taking humanities is difficult, but she makes lessons memorable, engaging, and fun, and is always willing to work with students, making it interesting and worthwhile class. She makes reading old literature less intimidating and connects it in a way that makes it feel relevant and can change your perspective. Thank you, Mrs. Vale. Hannah Crabtree. E.B. Lamb says, Hannah has been an amazing part of my junior year. Helped me to be creative and really express myself through my art and in forums. I can't wait to spend my senior year getting to know her better. Mrs. Sherman. Caitlin Grice says, Mrs. Sherman is amazing, teaching one of my favorite subjects this year. She's really good at answering questions and making the most of the class. I also want to invite her so that she could watch more lacrosse and hopefully learn a thing or two about the rules for her daughter. Thanks for a great year. Next is Nurse Lauren Cuisine. Claire Kim says, I know Lauren isn't a teacher, but she feels like one to me. She always gives the best advice, and she can be serious sometimes, but also silly. I love Lauren. She's so supportive and nice, and I appreciate her so much. Laura Landrum could not be here tonight, but Ellie Malloy wanted to honor her. Laura was always very engaging in class and super fun. She will talk to me about anything, whether it's school related or not. I appreciate her letting me hang out and work in her room, as well as attending my sports games, and always being there for me in general. Thanks, Laurel. Mr. Vest, Vivian Alcantara, says, I chose Mr. Vest because he's very supportive and gives great advice. He's always joking around and making French fun. He makes French class one of my favorite classes. And he also plays guitar, which is really cool. And Steve Coron. Sophie Miranda says, I love Steve so much. I took Italian art and culture with him last year and went to Italy with him that summer. I had the most amazing time and really loved learning from him. Steve has since retired, but whenever I see him, he is delighted to see me and is the sweetest. I appreciate the joy with which he approaches life and learning. Thank you so much for everything, Steve. Grazie. All right, I think that's it for the varsity, so we'll move on to the JV in just a minute.
Again, they're doing teacher appreciation right now as we just got started with that. Missed the first instructor or two, but stream up and going. They'll have the junior varsity teachers being appreciated, and then we'll get into the game versus Portage Lacrosse. Talk a little bit about that before that gets going, but just getting a picture with all the teachers for the varsity squad. Again, I always really appreciate the teacher appreciation. As the son of a now retired but long-time teacher, they have such an impact on us and our future and our world. Thank you to all those amazing educators out there at every level and those folks who continue to help us learn more in our lives. So again, they're just getting set up. The nice photo with the varsity teachers being appreciated. Now the JV right back behind.
All right, we continue. Mr. Constantelos, being honored by Nina Bonenberger and Megan Cole. Nina says, I've had Mr. Telos for Algebra 2 this year. He's approachable and friendly, and he always encourages us to learn by problem solving. I appreciate his support and teaching style and enjoy going to math class every day because of Mr. Telos. Megan says, Mr. Telos is a very kind teacher. He's always willing to help me out on any subject, whether it relates to his class or not. I appreciate his patience and how he cares for each of his students. He will always take the extra time to help with something that I'm struggling with. Mr. Coleman, by Anna Coleman, Grace Otieno, and Ali Rutberg. Mr. Coleman is one of the few teachers I've ever met that cares about every one of his students' experience in his class. It's really clear to see he wants everyone to feel comfortable asking questions and learning their way. Also, he's a great voice of reason for other classes. Grace says, Mr. Coleman is the greatest teacher of all time. So everybody else can go home. He's very knowledgeable and easily accessible, which makes getting help really convenient. He genuinely cares about the well-being of his students, which I appreciate a lot. Allie says, I chose Mr. Coleman because he puts his students first. He is understanding about what people are going through, and he takes the time to help you. He cares about his students and is always there to give advice. Next, Mrs. Workman, Grace Zorinsky. Mrs. Workman teaches my favorite subject. She not only taught me educational things, but personal things. She encourages me to go above and beyond and even help me decide what path to take for my later years of science classes. I appreciate everything she has helped me achieve and everything that she's taught me. Next is Emma Hamstra, who could not be here. Maggie Lamb says that Emma has been such an inspiration to me during my freshman year. She's taught me to be a strong leader, leading by example. She's helped me through the transition of school by teaching me how to express my true self. As Feminema always says, we bounce back. Mrs. Shank, being honored by Corey Flynn. Mrs. Shank is sweet and caring and somehow manages to find a way to strike up a conversation with you. She always makes sure that her students understand the material. If a topic is confusing, she explains it in a way that is easy to follow, making sure you fully understand it before being tested. And Margaret Hanrack. Anne McGowan says, I chose Madame Hanrath because she always makes an effort to make me and everyone else feel special. She loves to know how you're doing and what amazing things are going on in your life. She's a very kind and loving person who always looks out for you. Oh boy, I've got to say something in French that looks like, Elle me fait rire tous les jours. All right, Michelle Mackey. Leda Thomas says she shows consistent interest in student sports and puts an effort to understand and know her students well. Mrs. Mackey works to help all her students learn and believe in their own abilities. Todd St. Clair. Frankie Rudberg says he puts his students first and cares about them and how they're doing in life and understands the struggles that we all go through. Even though he just had twins, he shows up and still teaches and helps his students every day. Matthew Johnson. Radhika Pide says, Mr. Johnson's class has made me feel better prepared for high school and for college. I'm very grateful for his teaching. Next is Rita. Leela Stein says, Rita is one of the most caring and empathetic people that I know. She taught me so much, including a love of the language. She puts so much time into everything and is always engaging in class. Rita is the best Spanish teacher that I could ask for. Next is Courtney. Natalie Wagner says, Courtney has taught me so much and has been an amazing role model throughout the year. She's so caring and funny. I enjoy her class and the fun new things that we learn every day. You've made the school so exciting and welcoming. Thank you for everything. Savannah Torrey. Jayla Thomas says, having someone who is kind, approachable, and always willing to help can make a big difference in your school experience. And that's exactly what Mrs. Torrey has done for me. She puts a smile on my face. Since the beginning of the year, I knew that Mrs. T was going to be a great teacher, just from her aura and the way her energy would put people in a good mood. Mrs. T oddly has a love for math and can even make me enjoy it, even if I'm doing it 100% incorrect. She's one of the reasons the first hour is one of my favorite classes, and truly one of the reasons I've gotten through the class. Without her, I don't think I'd be where I am now. So thanks, Mrs. T. And finally, Jonathan Glave. Heather Beck says, he's the best orchestra teacher I've ever had. He's always nice and he makes orchestra fun. I've learned a lot from him this year and I can't wait to have him next year. Thanks again. Thank you all, you teachers. And we appreciate you coming out here tonight to support.
It's a wonderful teacher appreciation moment there, and now we can say, lacrosse Pioneer fans, Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse is live and on the air. We are live at Hollway Field, where it is your Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse team taking on Portage. Pioneer is 10-6-1, coming off of the win yesterday versus Tecumseh on senior night. That was a 20-0 win by Pioneer. That means they've won 8 of the last 9 and are really setting up to go into the playoffs, hopefully on a nice winning streak. But Portage is going to try and ruin and snap that streak here today. Pioneer has won the last 5 games in a row, including that Tecumseh game. We did start off with the teacher appreciation, so you can always go back after the broadcast and take a look at that. I think we missed the first teacher, but we're able to get up and get the rest of them out there. And thank you to all those amazing educators out there who help us learn more and become better people. Let's take a look at Portage. Portage is 8-6 on the season. They started off with a win versus Hazlitt 10-9, and they beat Grand Ledge 19-9. They had 2 losses then back on April 10th and 13th. One to Caledonia 15-8, and one to Grand Rapids Northville 11-10. They then beat the Hudsonville team 10-8 and fell to Matawan 15-7. That's a team that Pioneer went into, I think that was 6 overtimes with Matawan. Back on the 19th, they beat a good DeWitt team 11-9 and beat Holland West Ottawa on the 21st 17-6. They fell to Grand Rapids Northern on the 24th of April 12-8, but then turned around 5 days later on the 29th and beat Middlebury Northridge of Indiana 11-9. They had 2 losses on May 2nd and May 4th. Caledonia beating Portage again 16-6, and Hazlitt beating them 14-3, but they've won the last 2 games, beating Matawan 16-7, getting a little revenge for the earlier game back on the April 18th. That last one was on May 6th, and then they beat Granville by a score of 18-11 on May 10th. So Pioneer facing off against Portage today. Both teams looking to keep winning streaks going. Portage has won the last 2 in a row. Pioneer has won the last 5 in a row, and 8 out of 9. So it should be a fantastic contest today. We do want to thank all the wonderful, amazing sponsors of Pioneer Women's Lacrosse. Please help support those who help support the team. That includes Iris Dry Cleaning at 209 Fitness, Whitcomb Farms LLC, Finn's Insurance, Crazy Wisdom Publications, Shirley Redrick, State Farm Insurance Agent, Orange Theory, Kevin Devine Real Estate, Ann Arbor Rug and Carpet Cleaning, Palgon Tea, Hesselberg Chiropractics, Heidi Q. Shirellis Insurance, Anderson Paint Company, Ann Arbor Smiles, Stadium Hardware, Steve Service, Felix Rudberg of Real Estate One, Pear, Sperling, Egan and Daniels, Mathnasium, Blue Line Fitness, Steeper and Burst Orthodontics, Bank of Ann Arbor, The Right Touch, Burns Park Orthodontics, and BB Nail Salon. We'll play a few messages from the MHSAA, and then we will be back with the lineups as well as the national anthem. You are watching Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
The love of the game draws us to sports, as players, coaches, spectators, and officials. For officials, it's a way to stay in the game they once played, to feel the thrill of putting on the uniform, stepping out of the playing surface, hustling to make the call, and building the relationships which can only be built in sports. If you still have that love for the game, we always need new officials. Register now at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Sportsmanship has never been more important between the lines in athletics and outside those lines in our communities. To listen, to respect, to understand, to practice common decency, to have competition without contentiousness. Sportsmanlike qualities are essential components of life itself. Let's all work together to not only be good sports, but good people. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Nearly 2,000 of the state's top student athletes will be recognized for excelling academically and in school activities through the MHSAA's Scholar Athlete Award, underwritten by Farm Bureau Insurance. The applicants will be in the running for a total of 32 $1,000 college scholarships. Application materials are available exclusively online through the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Here are 5 more good reasons for multi-sport participation. Multi-sport athletes are more coachable. They have higher athletic ceilings. They become better talent in the long run. They have higher sports IQs. Their sport skills transfer, and they are better teammates. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
As we're getting ready to go here, as they have 25 minutes up on the clock, let's turn it over to the public address announcer.
Portage women lacrosse and Pioneers. Now for the starting lineups. First for Portage. Number 1, Jinin Omran. Number 2, Maya Thomas. Number 3, Quincy Lance. Number 4, Sarah Foley. Number 6, Sam Swafford. Number 7, Avery Kelly. Number 9, Ava Pickett. Number 16, Georgia Copeland. Number 17, Stella Hensley. Number 26, Gabby Booth. Number 27, Elsa Slam. Number 28, Madeline Romano. Number 31, Hannah Burchett. Number 32, Haley Slam. Number 36, Alex Lassiter. Number 46, Rosette Memphis. Now for Pioneer. Number 1, Ellie Malloy. Number 3, Sophie Miranda. Number 4, Lizzie Kinsey. Number 5, Grace Grabowski. Number 7, Adriana Kennedy. Number 10, Claire Kim. Number 11, Gigi Paulino. Number 12, Cindy Shui. Number 14, Lily Whitcomb. Number 15, Sophia Jimenez. Number 16, Edie Lamb. Number 21, Bella Cole. Number 23, Vivian Alcantara Luna. Number 34, Lizzie Daly. Number 97, Caitlin Bryce. Number 52, Sarah Hoffman. And now please rise if you are able for the playing of the national anthem.
As it is your Pioneer women's varsity lacrosse team taking on Portage. Portage is in their orange tops with the numbers outlined in white, blue numbers on the front and on the back, and the dark blue skirts. Pioneer is in their white uniforms, white tops, white skirts, numbers in dark purple on the back, and on the front has Pioneer in block lettering. Both teams gathered up, getting last-minute instructions from their coaching staff as we're about to get ready. 25 minutes up on the clock. So it looks like it is going to be Huffman between the posts to our right. Pioneer going from right to left here in this opening half. Shui in to take the opening draw. Grabowski to the right of the center circle. Kinsey to the left of the center circle. As Portage breaks the huddle. As going down to the left is Rimkus. Starting keeper for Portage. In to take the draw is Hensley versus Shui. As it's Alyssa Slane to the left of the center circle, and to the right is Lutz. Official gets the ball set for the draw between the crosses. And we're about to get underway. Ball set. The official backs away. There's the whistle as it pops up. Ground ball as racing over to get it. Shui has the ground ball, trying to avoid pressure as she fires that right at midfield. Over to Kinsey. Kinsey coming down between the hash marks. Kinsey over the restraining line into the offensive zone. Kinsey coming down the near hash marks inside of the 12-meter fan. Kinsey goes underneath the goal line extended. Kinsey going from the near side to the far side, gets above the goal line extended on the far side. Shot. Just goes to the left-hand side, but a whistle. And Kinsey is going to take that on the dot on the far wing, back behind the goal line extended. As she'll get that ball over to her. She'll have a free position from there. There's a whistle. Kinsey goes back behind the goal, flips it out in front, trying to get it over to Daly. Whistle there, and Daly has the ball. She'll have a free position as she will be on the first hash on the right. Daly set. Daly comes in, fires, and a save as Rimkus makes the save, fires it out. Here comes Portage. Bringing it ahead is Swafford. Swafford. That knocked away, ground ball. Shui ends up down on the turf. And there is going to be a yellow card. Is going over to take a knee by the scorer's bench is going to be Hensley. Pioneer up a player. Shui will start off about 10 yards over midfield. Right on the far hash marks. Waiting for the whistle. Shui kids to the left. Shui loses it, trying to rake it back up as another whistle. As Grabowski will have it as she's between the hash marks. Calling out as going right back behind her is Kaylee Slane. Grabowski gets over to Shui. Shui trying to get it over to Kinsey. That rolls over and trying to keep it in. Couldn't quite get to it. Jimenez, that will be Portage ball on the near sideline. Is raking that up. Bringing that ahead is Swafford. Swafford fires it all the way over between the hash marks. Now bringing it ahead is Boot. Boot racing down the numbers on the far side. Boot coming down the far sideline over midfield. Boot racing over towards the offensive zone. Whistle. As Boot will restart just outside of the restraining line as she calls out signals to get everyone associated where she wants. Boot now lofts it up high. That grabbed by Alyssa Slane. Alyssa Slane over on the near wing, over to Ormond. Ormond inside the 8-meter arc, coming over, then goes underneath the goal line extended. That pass knocked away by Malloy as Huffman has it in her crease. Huffman arcs it down the pitch and over, raking it up. Here comes Shui. Shui Fires it ahead. And bounces right over midfield. Grabbing it is Kennedy. Kennedy trying to rake it up. Won't settle down. Kennedy now has it. Kennedy coming down on the near. Hash marks. Whistle. As Copeland trying to knock that away. Kennedy racing in. Kennedy. Another whistle as she was approaching the crease. That'll result in a free position as Kennedy will be on the, again, first hash on the right. 5 yards back behind her is Swafford. Kennedy waits for the whistle, comes in, shot, and a save by Rimkus. Rimkus, another save, fires it down onto the near wing, bringing it ahead. Portage as that's Swafford. Swafford gets it as it rolls into the Pioneer defensive end. Malloy rakes it up, comes the other direction down the near sideline. Over to Daly. Daly lofts it ahead. That gets over to Jimenez. Jimenez over the restraining line into the offensive zone. Jimenez cuts between the hash marks inside the 12-meter fan. Jimenez goes outside the far hash marks. Now underneath the goal line extended. Jimenez right back behind the goal. Comes over on the near wing. Jimenez over the goal line extended. Now gets that over to Miranda. Miranda with the shot that blocked out in front. As that comes all the way back and along the far sideline, picking that up is Hensley. Hensley. Whistle. Down on the far sideline. Hensley will restart. Self-start coming down on that far sideline, working to get it ahead. Then fired ahead over to Kelly. Kelly. Outside the numbers, Malloy trying to rake that away. Malloy comes the other direction. Malloy fires it. That ahead to Grabowski, but a whistle. Grabowski, as that will be Portage ball as they move it over to Lance. Lance. It's inside the 12-meter fan, outside the far hash marks. That popped away by Grabowski. Lance gets it back. Fires that over to Alyssa Slane. Now, that moved over on the near wing, over to Ormond. Ormond working away around the 12-meter fan, goes outside the far hash marks. And tipped, but that will be our restart for Portage is Ormond. Coming down the far hash marks, gets inside the 8-meter arc, shot and a score! Number 1, Ormond puts it in as Portage goes up 1-0 at 19-14. So Ormond with the goal puts Portage up 1-0. At 19-14, Shui in to take the draw. Hensley on the other side. As Kinsey to the left of the center circle with Alyssa Slane. Over on the right is Grabowski with Lance. That ball popped up and whistle, and that is going to go over to Pioneer. As bringing ahead is Grabowski over midfield. Grabowski coming between the hash marks over the offensive, over the restraining line. Grabowski heads cutting up as she was trying to cut up just above the goal line, extended about 5 yards. That will result in a free position. She'll be on that first hash on the left. Grabowski waits for the whistle, cradles the ball. As she's set, there's the whistle. Grabowski comes in, shot, and catches it just underneath the crossbar. Grabowski ties it up at 18-37.
Pioneer goal by number 5, Grace Grabowski.
We are tied at 1 apiece at 18-37 here in the early going of the first. Shui in to take the draw for Pioneer. Against Grabowski and Lance to the right of the center circle. Alyssa Slane on the left-hand side of the center circle with Kinsey. And Hensley in to take the draw versus Shui. All set. There's the whistle popped up back towards the Pioneer goal as Kinsey has it. Kinsey over midfield. Kinsey goes down just inside the far hash marks. Now outside the far hash marks over the restraining line. Kinsey working her way down the numbers. Now cuts underneath the goal line extended. Kinsey directly behind the goal. Now comes over the goal line extended on the near wing. Kinsey fires it over to Daly. Daly just inside the 12-meter fan as she's between the hash marks. As a whistle. As that is going to put Alyssa Slane right back behind Kinsey. Kinsey right on the 12-meter fan. Kinsey cuts to her right, working her way around the 8-meter arc, trying to fire it in as that's grabbed by Rimkus. Rimkus fires it ahead down the far sideline as that's brought up by Kaylee Slane. Kaylee Slane trying to get around a trio of Pioneer defenders as Grabowski has it. Grabowski switches shoulders, cuts outside the numbers, coming down on the far sideline, back into the offensive zone. Grabowski goes underneath the goal line extended. Now going from the far side to the near side. Grabowski right back behind the cage, fires it out in front for Daly. And that ball just wouldn't settle down in the cross. Rimkus has it. Rimkus fires it off, coming down on the far wing, bringing it ahead is Hensley. Hensley outside the numbers. Hensley gets over midfield as that's bringing it up is Kelly. Kelly into the offensive zone, fires it. There's a shot that just goes wide. As back there, Ormond trying to fire it in, just went wide as Huffman looking for a place to go with it. Ormond providing blanket defense. Huffman back behind her own cage, lofts it up high, coming over. That bounced and pulling it up is Maya Thomas. That back over Oman trying to get to a ground ball right in the 8-meter arc. That flipped over to Swafford. Swafford cradling the ball, trying to get around Daly. That kick back over to Hensley. Hensley works her way around the 8-meter arc, flipped over as that is Lance with it. Shot and run out by Portage. 1-1 is the score, 16:02 left to go. Portage has it as that's Alyssa Slane in along the end line. Now she comes over the goal line extended on the far wing, being watched by Whitcomb. Whistle, and they'll put her right on the hanging hash on the right-hand side for a free position. As Alyssa Slane comes in, now spin, shot, and a goal. As goal by Alyssa Slane. And at 15-23, as Portage takes the lead. 2-1. Schway in to take the draw. Hensley on the other side. Again, Alyssa Slane in the bottom side of the draw control circle with Kinsey. Grabowski over to the right with Lance. Ball set for the draw. The official has the ball set between the backside of the crosses. That popped up and pulled away. Here comes Lance. Lance gets over the restraining line, back on the far wing in the offensive zone. Lance moves that back over to Alyssa Slane. Alyssa Slane loses the ball, trying to rake it up as it's right on the near hash marks. Malloy pops it up, still battling for that ground ball as that will be Pioneers' ball as Malloy fires it ahead to Jimenez. Jimenez gets it on a hop. Jimenez in the midfield area. Jimenez heads towards between the hash marks. Jimenez fires it, arcs it over, and that just over Whitcomb's outreached cross. That goes out the far sideline as that will be Portage ball. As Maya has it. Maya Thomas coming down the far sideline. Maya Thomas bounces it as that's over to Kelly. Kelly trying to race inside the 8-meter arc. Battle for it. Luna trying to rake it up. Still trying to come away with it, and that's grabbed by Huffman just outside of her crease. She's looking for a place to go with it. Huffman looks to her left. Now to her right. Huffman comes outside of her crease. Gets it over to Daly. Daly comes up just inside the far hash marks over her own defensive restraining line. Daly. That popped away as Maya Thomas has it. Coming ahead with it. Maya Thomas inside the 12-meter fan, inside the 8-meter arc, working her way from the far side to the near side. Maya Thomas. Double team, goes underneath the goal line, extended. Now coming along the end line from the near side to the far side. Maya Thomas stops. Whitcomb watching her as she lofts that back. Trying to get out in front is Hensley. Hensley, the whistle. Portage up 2-1, 13:21 left to go here in the first. It's going to be a free position for Hensley, as Hensley will be on the first hash on the right. As Malloy goes to her left on the hanging hash. Grabowski to her right. Hensley poised, waiting for the whistle. Comes in. Hensley shot. And it just goes high. Run out that is going to stay. Portage ball. As Kaylee Slane has it in along the end line. Or excuse me, that's Alyssa Slane. Alyssa Slane gets above the goal line, extended that over to Maya Thomas. Knocked down, shot. And that is going to be, looks like there was a foot in the crease. That is going to be Pioneer ball. As launched ahead, Shway has it. Shway. It's over on restraining line, racing towards midfield. Shway gets over midfield, coming down the numbers. Shway stops, spins right before the restraining line. Now looks to her right, gets that over on a hop over to Luna. As Luna brings that ahead. Right around the 12-meter fan. Luna pops that up over to Grabowski. She goes back over the restraining line. Grabowski comes between the hash marks just outside the 12-meter fan. Now working her way out the far hash marks. Grabowski walled off there as defense by Hensley. That is going to result in a free position right on that first hash on the left. Grabowski poised for the free position. Grabowski races in. Grabowski, that popped up high, grabbed by Rimkus. Rimkus fires it on the far side, bringing it up is Boot. Boot heads back, gets it back over to Rimkus. Rimkus just outside her own crease, moves it over on the near side, over to Copeland. Copeland brings it up the far hash marks. Copeland and ahead, bringing it ahead is Monarch. Monarch over midfield. Monarch has that tipped away from behind, but that raked up by Kelly. Kelly coming inside the 12-meter fan as that was tipped. That pass tipped by Malloy, racing over to keep it in is Maya Thomas. Maya Thomas underneath the goal line, extended on the far wing. Malloy watching her. She lofts that up, tipped away and grabbed by Daly. Daly has it for Pioneer, coming down the numbers as that rolls down the far sideline and goes out right in front of the scorer's bench. That will be Portage ball. Portage has the 2-1 lead. 10:35 left to go here in the first half. Is bringing it ahead as that was Kaylee Slane who will restart. About 12 yards outside of the offensive zone. Kaylee Slane pops that over. Ground ball. Jimenez trying to get it. Back there battling with Pickett. Whistle. As that is going to be Hensley right at the restraining line with the restart. Miranda goes 5 yards back behind her. Hensley coming outside the far hash marks. Now comes between the hash marks. Hensley approaches the 12-meter fan. Hensley spins with it. Just between the fan and the arc. Hensley comes on the far wing, just inside the far hash marks. Hensley has Malloy watching her. Hensley calmly walks between the hash marks. Now spins Malloy trying to wall her off. Hensley gets a screen. Now steps back outside of the fan. Hensley now launches it over on the near wing as that's over to Foley. Sending it back behind. That over on the far side is Matt Thomas trying to get that ground ball, and that will go out the end line. That will be Pioneers' ball. Portage up 2-1 with 9:07 left to go here in the first. Huffman has it. Inner crease, Huffman. Looking downfield, Huffman. Just inside the far hash marks, cradling the ball, Huffman. As Grabowski coming back, Huffman looking for the clear. She launches it all the way down, grabbed by Miranda. Miranda racing down the far sideline, trying to get that up as battle for it, and that will be Portage ball. As Kaylee Slane will have it. Kaylee Slane coming down the far sideline, trying to get it to Hensley as that ball raked back, grabbing it is Lance. Heads up over the restraining line, coming down the numbers on the far wing. As that's fired ahead over to Maya Thomas. Maya Thomas being watched by Grabowski. As Maya Thomas gets a screen from Hensley, now comes between the hash marks. Daly comes out to mark her. Maya Thomas coming down outside the near hash marks, goes underneath the goal line extended, now in along the end line, going from the near side to the far side. As now she goes over the goal line extended on the far wing, still looking for a spot to go, Maya Thomas. Trying to duck under pressure, that grabbed away by Daly. Daly gets it ahead to Kinsey for Pioneer. Kinsey over to Miranda, over midfield. Miranda running down the numbers into the offensive zone. Miranda just inside the numbers, goes underneath the goal line extended from the near side to the far side. Miranda goes above the goal line extended, gets it over to Jimenez. Jimenez with a shot. Rimkus with the save. Low shot. Rimkus able to get that cross down, block it. She's done some excellent work in the crease, keeping it a 2-1 Portage lead with 7 minutes left to go here in the first. Rimkus back behind the goal line extended on the near wing. Grabowski comes over to provide pressure. As Rimkus looking up to her right. There's a whistle as Grabowski will have to go 5 yards back behind her. It's Rimkus gets it over onto the near wing, bringing it up is Boot. Boot racing down the near sideline. Boot trying to swim through pressure. That grab by Miranda. Miranda heads back underneath the goal line extended on the near wing. Miranda now lofts it back, gets it over to Jimenez. Jimenez cuts inside the numbers. Now works away between the hash marks, coming around the 12-meter fan. Jimenez gets it ahead to Daly. That on the ground. Daly rakes it up as she comes outside the 12-meter fan between the hash marks. Daly comes over on the far wing. Daly looks to her right. Now stutter steps, trying to cut further down. Lofts it up over to Jimenez. Jimenez gets it over to Shue. Shue comes inside the far hash marks, coming from the far side to the near side. Shue cuts inside the 8-meter arc. Whistle. So that might have been a halo infraction. Shue has it on the first hash on the right, waiting for the whistle. 5 yards behind her is Monarch. Shue comes in and fires it. That goes off. Ricocheted, racing over, trying to get it is Kennedy. That goes out. That's going to stay Pioneer ball. Or no, that will be a Portage ball. So shot, they'll say Portage closest to it. As here comes Kennedy. Kennedy gets it back over Grabowski. Even with the goal on the near wing, Grabowski goes underneath the goal line extended. Grabowski. On the just underneath the goal line extended on the near wing. Be watched back there by Copeland. Grabowski working her way between the hash marks around the 8-meter arc. Grabowski comes in, shot, bounce, shot, and fires it in. We're all knotted up at 2 apiece. Nope. As looks like the whistle possibly before the goal. So there's a yellow card to Portage. Looks like the goal will count. So Grabowski with the goal as everyone heads towards midfield. They just wanted to make me question myself, which is not hard to do. And at 4:39, it's been a hard-fought game between these two squads, as good as advertised, as taking a knee over by the scorer's table is Alyssa Slane. As we hear the Ann Arbor Fire Department going by, Godspeed to them. Schway in to take the draw. No, because of the penalty, draw automatically goes to Pioneer. As Schway cuts to her left. Between the hash marks, gets over the restraining line. Schway coming down the numbers on the far wing. Schway goes underneath the goal line extended, gets it out in front to Daly. Daly, ball loose on the ground. Schway comes away with it. Schway fires it over to Grabowski. Grabowski outside the 12-meter fan on that far wing. Grabowski switches spots with Kinsey. Grabowski between the hash marks, fires it over to Kinsey on the far hash marks. Kinsey racing down the far wing. Kinsey cuts in towards the crease. That popped up, but a whistle. As Kinsey will have it, as they'll put her on the hanging hash on the left-hand side. Kinsey leans in. Free position, but Rimkus has been excellent in these conditions. Shot, and Kinsey puts it in. Little traffic out front, making it harder for Rimkus. And Pioneer takes the 3-2 lead at 3:31.
Pioneer goal by number 4, Lizzie Kinsey.
Schway versus Henley for the draw. Kinsey on the left-hand side of the center circle. She's joined over there by Ormond. On the right-hand side of the center circle is Grabowski with Lance. Now Ormond heads off, and it will be Maya Thomas on the bottom side of the center circle. Ball set for the draw. There's the whistle, pops up as Schway trying to get it out of midair. That grab, coming ahead with it. Maya Thomas over the restraining line. Now stops, whistle as Grabowski has to go 5 yards back behind her. Maya Thomas restarts, heading outside the near hash marks. Now goes down towards the goal line extended, underneath the goal line extended. Malloy providing pressure. Back over to Hensley. Hensley on the near wing, inside the numbers. Hensley steps back just about 5 yards above the goal line extended. Grabowski marking her. Hensley spins with it. Gets it back over to Maya Thomas. Maya Thomas. Malloy calling out signals as she switches with Grabowski. Maya Thomas gets it back over to Hensley. Hensley outside the numbers on the near wing. Hensley heads up towards the restraining line. That fired over to Foley. Foley over on the far wing, over to Kelly. Kelly moves it back over to Foley. Foley trying to rake that up. Foley back over to Kelly. Kelly between the hash marks, gets it to Hensley inside the 8-meter arc. Shot that just goes wide to the near side as running it out. Whitcomb. Whitcomb has it. Gets it over to Huffman in her crease. 2:14 left to go here in the first half. Pioneer up 3-2 as Schway heads over midfield. Fires it on a bounce ahead to Miranda. Miranda over the restraining line, coming down inside the numbers on that far wing. Miranda underneath the goal line extended. Miranda comes on the near wing, just a few feet under the goal line extended. As she is being watched over there by Swafford. Miranda lofts it back over. Here comes Grabowski with a shot, and again Ribkiss with a fantastic save. coming ahead with it. Hensley down the far sideline. Hensley outside the numbers. Hensley over midfield. Hensley racing down towards the restraining line. Fires down the hop over to Kelly. Kelly gets it over. Mia Thomas rakes it up underneath the goal line extended, trying to come above the goal line extended. Malloy watching her. Mia Thomas switches shoulders, goes underneath the goal line extended. Luna back there as well. That flip back over to Kelly. Kelly launches it over the goal. Just a little high for an outstretched lacrosse. That goes over the restraining line, and I think that might have been offsides, and it was. Pioneer ball. As Jimenez has it. .45 seconds left to go here in the first. Pioneer with the 3-2 lead. Their first lead of the game as Portage scored the first goal. Pioneer able to tie it up. Portage scored the second goal to take a 1-goal lead. Then Pioneer has a 2-goal run. Schway has it on the far sideline. Schway heads between the hash marks. Schway gets over midfield, gets it ahead to Jimenez with 22 seconds left to go. Jimenez rakes up the ground ball. Back into the offensive zone. Jimenez cuts to her right. Ball on the turf. Jimenez gets it over to Grabowski. Grabowski, 10 seconds left to work. Grabowski lofts it ahead, trying to get it to Kinsey. That pulled away by Kennedy. Kennedy on the ground. Jimenez trying to pull it up, and that will do it, as that is the first half. At the end of one, it is Pioneer 3 and Portage 2, as it is as good as advertised a battle as we thought it would be. Let us take a few moments, play a few messages from the MHSAA, and we will be right back.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
The love of the game draws us to sports, as players, coaches, spectators, and officials. For officials, it's a way to stay in the game they once played, to feel the thrill of putting on the uniform, stepping out of the playing surface, hustling to make the call, and building the relationships which can only be built in sports. If you still have that love for the game, we always need new officials. Register now at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Sportsmanship has never been more important between the lines in athletics and outside those lines in our communities. To listen, to respect, to understand, to practice common decency, to have competition without contentiousness. Sportsmanlike qualities are essential components of life itself. Let's all work together to not only be good sports, but good people. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Nearly 2,000 of the state's top student athletes will be recognized for excelling academically and in school activities through the MHSAA's Scholar Athlete Award, underwritten by Farm Bureau Insurance. The applicants will be in the running for a total of 32 $1,000 college scholarships. Application materials are available exclusively online through the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Here are 5 more good reasons for multi-sport participation. Multi-sport athletes are more coachable. They have higher athletic ceilings. They become better talent in the long run. They have higher sports IQs. Their sport skills transfer, and they are better teammates. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
thank all the wonderful, amazing sponsors of Pioneer Women's Lacrosse. That includes Irish Dry Cleaners at 209 Fitness, Whitcomb Farms LLC, Finn's Insurance, Crazy Wisdom Publications, Shirley Redrick, State Farm Insurance Agent, Orange Theory Fitness, Kevin Devine Real Estate, Ann Arbor Rug and Carpet Cleaning, Palgon Tea, Hesselberg Chiropractics, Heidi Kucherellis Insurance, Anderson Paint Company, Ann Arbor Smiles, Stadium Hardware, Steve Service, Felix Rudberg of Real Estate One, Pears, Sperling, Egan and Daniels, Mathnasium, Blue Lion Fitness, Steeper and Burst Orthodontics, Bank of Ann Arbor, The Right Touch, Burns Park Orthodontics, and BB Nails Salon. As we are approaching the end of halftime, it is Pioneer 3 and Portage 2, as Portage scored first, that at 19-14 as that was put in by Ormond. Then at 18-37, Pioneer tied it up by a score by Grabowski. Then at 15-23, Portage took the 2-1 lead as that was a score by Alyssa Slane. Then Grabowski scored again for Pioneer at 4:39 to tie it up at 2 apiece. Then Kinsey with a goal at 3:31, and that's where we stand, Pioneer 3 and Portage 2. Both fantastic teams looking to keep their winning ways as we're heading fast into the playoffs. Taking a look at what's up for the playoffs for Pioneer, as Pioneer will start off the playoffs here at Hollway Field. That will be a game on 5/19. That will be the 24th of May. Pioneer will play at 7 p.m. here at Hollway Field. They will play the winner of Huron versus Salem. That game will happen at Huron on the 19th. So Pioneer will start off the 24th, 7 p.m. here at Hollway Field. If they are able to win that game versus Huron or Salem, they will advance on May 30th over at Northville at 7 p.m. Pioneer men's lacrosse looks like they're going to start here at Hollway Field as well. Their playoff push, as well as the brackets are out for the men's lacrosse playoffs as well. Soccer, we should be seeing that soon, as it does look like on the soccer schedule from Pioneer, they are listed to host the first round game, but those brackets are not out as of yet. Pioneer going from left to right here in the second half. Shui versus Hensley for the draw, as Kinsey over with Alyssa Slane, top of the center circle. Over on the left of the center circle, it is Lance with Grabowski. Ball set for the draw. Popped up back, racing over to get Grabowski. Grabowski heads back to her restraining line. Grabowski now heading up the hash marks. Grabowski runs over midfield, switches shoulders. Grabowski heads down over the restraining line into the offensive zone. Grabowski inside the numbers on the near wing. Grabowski heads underneath the goal line extended. Grabowski goes right back behind the goal from the near side to the far side. Now she comes over the goal line extended on the far wing. Grabowski steps back outside the far hash marks, trying to get it over to Kinsey. Kinsey rakes it up just inside the numbers on the far wing. Kinsey comes just along the 12-meter fan. Kinsey comes over on the near wing, spins between the hash marks. Kinsey loses it, gets it. Kinsey in. Shot, and a low shot manages to find its way past Rimkiss and putting it in. Kinsey makes it 4-2 Pioneer. She has a 2-goal run of her own. That makes it a 3-goal run for Pioneer. That at 24:06. Well, both these squads' last games were a little higher scoring. Pioneer had the 20-0 win versus Tecumseh yesterday, and Portage had a 18-11 game that they won versus Granville back on the 10th yesterday as well. So a lot more defensive minded game today between these two squads. Sway to take the draw versus Hensley. Ball set between the backside of the crosses. Whistle popped up back as Schway grabs it out of midair. Schway heading outside the far hash marks, racing towards over the restraining line. Schway coming down the numbers on the far wing as she goes underneath the goal line extended. Schway coming in along the end line from the far side to the near side. Schway goes over the goal line extended on the near wing outside the hash mark. Schway coming around the 12-meter fan. Now cuts inside the 8-meter arc. She's walled off. Whistle. And we'll stay with Pioneer. Schway. Looks like she'll have a free position on the first hash on the left of that 8-meter arc. Remkis in front of her, gets in position. Schway leaning over, runs in. Schway goes past, shoots it in, and she wraps around the crease over to the far side, puts it in. Schway makes it 5-2 Pioneer at 23-19. Four-goal run by Pioneer. They'd love to keep the pressure on here. Portage would love to snap that goal run and start one going the other way. Lance with Grabowski on the left-hand side of the center circle. Top of the center circle is Kinsey with Henley. Schway in to take the draw. I believe in there is Alyssa Slane. We'll double check. Can't quite see the number. And popped up. Grabowski racing over to get it. It was Alyssa Slane taking the draw. That goes over. Here comes Kinsey. Kinsey races over the restraining line. Kinsey cuts to the right. And she is working in there against Lance. Kinsey goes underneath the goal line extended. Excuse me. That was Pickett who she was working with. Now back out with it is Schway. Schway outside the 12-meter fan. Schway between the hash marks. Cuts inside the fan. Schway races underneath the goal line extended. Working against Hensley. Schway directly behind the goal, going from the near side to the far side. Schway goes over the goal line extended. That over to Kinsey on a hop. Kinsey between the hash marks outside the fan. Kinsey now flips it over to Grabowski. Grabowski races inside the 12-meter fan, cutting, working her way around the 8-meter arc. Grabowski goes underneath the goal line extended. She wraps around the crease from behind. Above the goal line extended on the far wing. She kicks that back out to Jimenez. Jimenez between the hash marks. Jimenez gets it inside to Kinsey. Kinsey quickly walled off. Bounce shot. That rolls over on the near wing. Raked up there by Hensley. Racing down on the near sideline. Hensley trying to make her way as she switches shoulders. Gets past Miranda. Hensley coming up the numbers. Floats it ahead. That over to Lance. Lance over the restraining line. Coming down between the hash marks. Lance. That knocked down by Malloy. Ground ball. Lance gets it up. Lance outside the hash marks on the near wing. That flipped over to Maya Thomas. Maya Thomas floats it ahead. Coming in. Shot by Kelly and a score. Kelly from Maya Thomas putting it in. That at 21-36. That snaps a 4-goal run by Pioneer. As number 7, Kelly puts it in. Assist to Maya Thomas. So Portage gets it down to a 2-goal lead by Pioneer, 5-3 with 21-36. As Alyssa Slane in to take the draw versus Schway. Hensley, top of the center circle with Kinsey on the left-hand side. Grabowski, trying to see who that is over there. That popped up, back, racing over. Grabowski plays it off the body as the official leaps out of the way. Grabowski, added, and then loses an edge as it goes out the near sideline. Grabowski will have possession for Pioneer as Alyssa Slane 5 yards back behind her. That knocked away out the near sideline. Good chance by Lance to try and steal it away, but it goes out the sideline before she can corral that. Grabowski right on the near sideline. 21:05 left to go here in the second half. 5-3 Pioneer with the lead. Portage scored last though As that back over midfield, rolling to rake it up is Malloy. Malloy lofts it ahead to Grabowski. Grabowski over midfield, coming outside the numbers. She goes down on the pitch. That roll back over. Shui races over to try and get that. Is trying to get it. Lance back there as well, as there's a bit of a scrum, pulling it away. Coming ahead with it is Orman. Orman has it on the ground, trying to get it back. That raked away by, is that Jimenez? No, pulled away back there by Boot. Boot heads the other direction for Portage. Boot coming down outside the numbers on the far wing. Boot over midfield. Boot heads down over the restraining line. Boot still with it, coming down on that far sideline. Now cuts inside the numbers. Boot. That lost, but a whistle, and that will be a free position for Boot, as Boot will go just outside the 12-meter fan, about 3 yards above the goal line extended there. That lofted back over to Hensley. Hensley has Malloy watching her, gets a screen from Alyssa Slane. Hensley moves it over on the near wing. Orman with the pass and shot and score by Lance. Number 3, Lance puts it in. Number 1, Orman with the assist. That's a 2-goal run for Portage as they get it down to a 1-goal game at 19:36. Alyssa Slane in versus Shui in the draw control circle. Or in the circle. Ball set for the draw, right on the blockades. As the official steps away, there's a whistle popped up. Ground ball. As raking it up, as that is Alyssa Slane with it. Knocked, and that is going to be back over to Portage as they fire it ahead. Hensley has it between the hash marks, working her way inside the 12-meter fan, inside the 8-meter arc. Hensley with a shot and a score. We are all tied up. Number 17, Hensley, puts it in for Portage, and it is 5-all at 19:25. That would be a 3-goal run by Portage. Grabowski to the left of this center circle, joined over there by Lance. As it is Alyssa Slane versus Shui for the draw. Hensley and Kinsey above the center circle. Ball set. Official makes sure the crosses are level. Steps away. There's the whistle. That pops up back towards the Pioneer goal. Raked up. Here comes Portage with it. As coming ahead with it, Lance. Lofts that back over to Hensley. Hensley heading towards the far hash marks. Hensley gets it inside. Shot saved by Huffman as Lance had a good shot from about 5 yards on the far side of the goal. That is a whistle. It'll be a restart as Orman has it just above the circle. Trying to get to Kelly. Oh, that ball wouldn't settle down in the cross. Kelly gets the ground ball, heads outside the 12-meter fan. Kelly gets it over to Orman. Orman splits the defense. Orman steps back. Daly watching her as there is a whistle, and they will have Orman restart just outside the 12-meter fan. Malloy will go 5 yards back behind her. Orman just on the edge of the 12-meter fan and the far hash marks. Orman trying to come in. That knocked away. Raking it up over there is Maya Thomas. Maya Thomas outside the hash mark. Slips that back over to Hensley. Hensley side steps to her right. Now gets it back over to Kelly. Kelly inside the 8-meter arc. Kelly moves it back over, coming in. Hensley, bounce shot, saved by Huffman. Kelly gets the rebound back behind the goal. Kelly Gets it over on a hop, trying to pull that away. Hensley, sidearm shot. Running it out is Alyssa Slane. That will stay Portage ball, 5-all. Portage looking to try and get the lead again. Pioneer would like to stop this 3-goal run as Alyssa Slane loses that in the 8-meter arc, but that is going to be a free position. The Pioneer did secure the SEC title. They are SEC champions with the win versus Tecumseh yesterday. As Alyssa Slane has it on the center right hash of the 8-meter arc coming in. She goes to her right and fires it in. Goal as Portage takes the lead. Number 27, Alyssa Slane, puts it in. Is that 17:06 Portage with the 6-5 lead. Pioneer had a 4-goal run, 2 at the end of the half, 2 at the beginning of the half. Now Portage has responded with a 4-goal run of their own. Ball set for the Hollway versus Alyssa Slane. Popped up as trying to pull that away. Grabowski gets the ground ball. 16:58 left to go here in the second as Portage with the 6-5 lead. Pioneer in the offensive zone. Kinsey comes back over the restraining line. She heads towards the sideline trying to get some room. Double team back there as Ormond providing pressure. That on a bounce gets it over to Grabowski. Grabowski outside the numbers on the far wing. Grabowski heading underneath the goal line extended. Grabowski heads from the far side to the near side, directly back behind the goal. Grabowski fakes the pass just underneath the goal line extended on the near wing. Grabowski goes back the other direction, near side to the far side. Grabowski gets it over to Miranda. Miranda with the shot. Saved by Rimkus, but there is a whistle. Yellow card shown. As going over, Swafford takes the yellow card. She'll go over and have a moment by the scorer's bench. Pioneer up a player. Miranda on the left center hash for the free position. Rimkiss in possession. Miranda poised right on that left center hash. Miranda comes in, shot. As that knocked away and looks like there was someone stepped into the crease. That will be Portage ball. 16 minutes even left to go here in the second. That ball bounces. Whitcomb trying to get it. Pulled out of midair. Here comes Portage over midfield. Racing ahead with that. Bringing it ahead is Lance. Lance fired and shot and a goal. As that was, I believe, Kelly who put that in. So Kelly, number 7, scores by Portage. And that is a 5-goal run by Portage. They take a 2-goal lead, 7-5 at 15:42. Timeout call by Pioneer. Well, let's talk about all the wonderful sponsors of Pioneer Women's Lacrosse. That includes Iris Dry Cleaning at 409 Fitness, Whitcomb Farms LLC, Finn's Insurance, Crazy Wisdom Publications, Shirley Redrick State Farm Insurance, Orange Theory Fitness, Kevin Devine Real Estate, Ann Arbor Rug and Carpet Cleaning, Palgon Tea, Hasselberg Chiropractics, Heidi Kushrellis Insurance, Anderson Paint Company, Ann Arbor Smiles, Stadium Hardware, Steve Service, Felix Rubberg of Real Estate One, Pear, Sperling, Egan and Daniels, Mathnasium, Blue Line Fitness, Steeper and Burst Orthodontics, Bank of Ann Arbor, The Right Touch, Burns Park Orthodontics, and BB Nail Salon. Let's play a little push on and we will be right back. 15:42 here in the second half. As Portage now has a 5-goal run. Coach Magus calling a timeout to talk things over. Portage heads back onto the field. As Rudenkiss slowly walks down to the crease to our right. Pioneer getting last moment instructions. Now they huddle up. And Pioneer heads out onto the field. Lance to the left of the center circle with Grabowski. Hensley, top of the center circle. Will be joined over there by Kinsey and Schway. In to take the draw with Alyssa Slane. They both get themselves set on either side of midfield. The official gets the ball set between the crosses. 7-5, Portage with the lead. 15:42 left to go here in the second half. There's the whistle, popped up, pulled out of midair, but a whistle. That's going to stay with Portage as bringing it ahead is Alyssa Slane. Ground ball, popped up, trying to get to it. Still on the ground. Popped back into the midfield area. And popped up again. And trying to pull it away was Kennedy. Whistle, and that is going to be Pioneer's ball. As right at midfield, Kennedy is going to have it, as they'll have her go just the other side of midfield. Kennedy now over midfield. That knocked away. Ground ball raked up by Maya Thomas. Maya Thomas over the restraining line into the offensive zone for Portage. Maya Thomas comes down the hash marks underneath the goal, extended from the far side to the near side. Maya Thomas has Luna in front of her. Now Malloy comes over to double team. Maya Thomas in along the end line, going from the near side to the far side. As whistle, off ball infraction, that goes over to Pioneer. As Malloy will have it, moves it over to Huffman. Huffman back behind her own cage. Huffman lofts it over on the near side, just over Grabowski's outreach to cross. That will go out the near sideline. Ormond will have it there for Portage. Ormond running over towards the cuts down the near hash marks. Ormond trying to head up. Another whistle. As I think that might have been offsides as someone over the restraining line. As that'll stay with Portage. Ormond with it, trying to cut that ball, ground ball, trying to rake it up. Is Lamb still loose? Battling as Lance trying to keep it in. Ooh, she comes close to banging on that bench. I'm glad. Hopefully she's okay. I would have slammed on that and been out for about 3 weeks, but that's just me. Ball loose, raking it up. Ormond has it as Portage really getting to the ground ball, showing that hustle. That goes just over the cross of Kelly out the end line. That'll be Pioneer ball. Things have gotten a little chaotic this last few minutes. Hoffman has it in her crease. 13:30 left to go here in the second, as Portage has the 7-5 lead. That pulled out of midair. Coming ahead with it is Maya Thomas. Maya Thomas down the numbers on the near wing. It's Pioneer having issues clearing it. Over to Ormond. Ormond gets inside the 12-meter fan, firing it over to Kelly. Kelly's shot just over the crossbar by inches. That run out by Lamb. Pioneer ball as Lamb has it in along the end line. Lamb gets it over to Huffman. Huffman back behind her goal. Huffman lofts it over on the near side to Malloy. Malloy running down the numbers. Malloy trying to get over that, tipped out of her cross. And that is going to be Portage ball. No infraction. Maya Thomas has it on the near sideline. Maya Thomas gets that over to Orman. Orman coming, working around the 12-meter fan, trying to cut in Orman. Now back pedals. Orman has Shway in front of her. Gets a screen from Kelly. Orman has that tipped away, but a whistle. Orman has it on the 12-meter fan just inside of the hash marks. Malloy coming over. Oh boy, what a grab and a fire as in traffic, fully able to grab it, number 4 from Orman and fire it in. There was a couple of defensive crosses there. Somehow Foley came up with it, and that's a 6-goal run for Portage, 8-5.
Number 4, Sarah Foley.
And at 11:58, it looked like Malloy was going to get her cross on it, but Foley somehow came up with it and in the same motion fired it in. Timeout call by Pioneer. Well, let's play a few messages from the MHSAA. We will be right back with just 2 ticks under 12 minutes left to go. 8-5, Portage with the 3-goal lead.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
The love of the game draws us to sports, as players, coaches, spectators, and officials. For officials, it's a way to stay in the game they once played, to feel the thrill of putting on the uniform, stepping out of the playing surface, hustling to make the call, and building the relationships which can only be built in sports. If you still have that love for the game, we always need new officials. Register now at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Sportsmanship has never been more important between the lines in athletics and outside those lines in our communities. To listen, to respect, to understand, to practice common decency, to have competition without contentiousness. Sportsmanlike qualities are essential components of life itself. Let's all work together to not only be good sports, but good people. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
6-goal run by Portage, and they have made it really difficult for Pioneer to clear it out of their own zone. Ball set for the draw. Trying to rake it up. Coming away with it, Hensley, as Portage continues to do well. As coming in, Orman spins at the goal line extended. Now heads over onto the far wing. Orman outside the 12-meter fan over to Alyssa Slane. Alyssa Slane gets it back over on the far wing to Foley. Foley coming in. Hensley with the shot, and Hensley with the score. 7-goal run. Number 17, Hensley, puts it in. That is her 2nd goal of the game. And at 11:28. And Portage has really found their groove. 4-goal lead, largest lead of the game. 9-5. 11:28 left to go. It's Pioneer desperate to snap this goal run by Portage. Ball set for the draw. Alyssa Slane in there with Shway. Ball set between the crosses, popped up, back, racing over to get it. Right at the restraining line, Grabowski trying to pull that away. Now Hensley racing over, Schway trying to get to it. Still on the ground trying to rake it up. Coming away with it is Alyssa Slane. Alyssa Slane running down the far sideline. Kinsey watching her. She gets that over to Hensley. Hensley on the numbers on the far wing, gets a screen from Alyssa Slane. Hensley lofts it up. Roos on the ground is Ormond. Pops it up in the air and gets it on the near wing. Ormond, double team, goes underneath the goal line, extended. Ormond going from the near side, back behind the goal, over the far side. Ormond comes above the goal line, extended. That ball on the ground, raked up by Whitcomb. Whitcomb gets it over, but a whistle. As Whitcomb will have it inside the 8-meter arc. Whitcomb gets it, trying to get it over to Malloy, and that goes out the end line. Portage again. Heavy defense keeping Pioneer from getting it out of their own zone. Ormond trying to get it up. That in. Whitcomb has it. Whitcomb flips it over to Huffman. Huffman in her crease. Huffman lofts it down the far wing over to Schway, and a whistle. And some infraction gives it right back over to Portage. And pops up, battle for it over on the far wing, bringing it in. Hensley between the hash marks. Hensley gets a moving screen, now comes inside the 12-meter fan. Hensley backs up outside the near hash marks, flips that over. As coming in with it, Kelly with a shot, that blocked by Huffman. Back behind, comes back over to Ormond. Ormond loses it, but that'll be a halo infraction, free position. As a restart for Ormond. Just outside the 12-meter fan. Ormond races in the hash marks, loses it, ground ball as Malloy rakes it up. Malloy coming ahead. Ormond slow to get up. She looks like she's okay, though. Ground ball in the middle, trying to rake it up. Schway trying to pull that away. Battle for it, loose, coming away with it. Kennedy thought she had it. That pulled away as Portage is getting those hustle ground balls coming in as Hensley fires it and puts it in. Hensley with the hat trick now. As Portage has doubled up Pioneer 10-5 at 8:52. Number 17, Hensley.
Portage goal, number 17, Stella Hensley.
As Alyssa Slane versus Schway. In for the draw, both Kinsey and Grabowski kind of on that left-hand side of this center circle. Now Kinsey comes above with Hensley. And it's Maya Thomas on the left-hand side with Grabowski. Ball set, that popped up back towards the restraining line. Grabbed by Daly. Daly back over to Lamb. Lamb quickly over. That popped back over to Malloy. Malloy now launches it ahead over to Schway. Schway running down the numbers. Schway over midfield. Schway outside the numbers, over the restraining line into the offensive zone. Schway comes as whistle. Free position for Schway as she has it on the first hash on the left of the 8-meter arc with 8:15 left to go. Pioneer down by 5. Schway comes in, gets the far side, fires it just inside the crossbar. And Pioneer, Schway puts it in for a Pioneer goal. That snaps a 8-goal run by Portage. Pioneer looking to put a big goal run of their own as they are down 4 goals. By the way, Grice now in net for Pine, or no, it is Huffman, sorry. Oh, I saw that. No, that is Grice on signing. So still Huffman in goal for Pioneer. Shwe in versus Alyssa Slane for the draw. As putting both players to the left of the center circle is Portage, knowing that the ball has gone that way the last several draws. Popped up, back and grabbed, coming ahead with it is Hensley. Hensley loses it, gets it back. Hensley swim move over, that down, but gets it back off the ground, fires it over to Kelly. Kelly lofts it out on the far sideline. Racing over to get it is Lassiter. Lassiter pulls it as Whitcomb trying to pull that away. That goes off of the foot towards the restraining line. Raked up back there by Foley. Grabowski with it on the far sideline for Pioneer. Foley right in front of her as now Grabowski runs down the far sideline over midfield. Grabowski heads between the hash marks. Grabowski lofts it ahead over to Kinsey. Kinsey comes working her way around the 12-meter fan. Kinsey gets inside the 8-meter arc. Shot, as they'll say, closest to it running it out was Portage. 6:50 left to go. Portage has it in along the end line. And getting it back. Rimkiss with it just outside of her crease on the near side. 10-6, Portage with the lead. Rimkiss moves it over to Boot. Boot trying to bring it ahead, cuts on the near wing, loses it. Boot races back over, gets it back. Boot, that loft stolen away. As push in the back, Kim has it. As Daly now heads outside the restraining line. Grabowski has it between the hash marks. Substitution coming in as Shwe comes back in on the offensive side. Grabowski spins on the near hash marks. Grabowski heads down towards the goal line extended. Grabowski underneath the goal line extended from the near side to the far side. Grabowski gets over the goal line extended outside the hash marks. Stutter steps now, flips it back over to Kim. Kim gets it over to Shwe. Shwe between the hash marks. Shwe now outside the hash marks, coming down the far wing. Shwe goes underneath the goal line extended, now going from the far side to the near side, directly behind the goal. Shwe goes above the goal line extended. She's coming up the near wing. Shwe sends it over to Jimenez. Jimenez just outside the 12-meter fan. Jimenez now works her way outside the near hash marks. Jimenez goes underneath the goal line extended. Jimenez in along the end line from the near side to the far side. Jimenez just underneath, now right above the goal line extended. Jimenez, as that was knocked away by Copeland. Copeland firing it ahead. Malloy trying to get to it. Ground ball. Kim in there trying to pull that away. As raked up by Malloy. Malloy heads between the hash marks. Malloy now comes over the restraining line. Malloy outside the near hash marks. Malloy gets inside the 8-meter fan. Malloy fires it. That tips off and raked up by Kennedy in along the end line. Kennedy has it. 4:14 left to go in the second. Pioneer down by 4. As Malloy has it outside the 12-meter fan. Malloy gets it over to Jimenez. Jimenez over to Shwe. Shwe and it's going to be a free position for Shwe at the right center hash. Sway races in, fire that just goes wide, knocked down, and that will go out. Pioneer ball. As Kennedy has it in along the end line, 3:23 left to go. Pioneer down by 4. That fired out in front. Grabowski's shot goes high, racing to keep it in. That goes out the end line. That will be Portage ball. 3:08 left to go. Pioneer with it as that's knocked away from Kennedy. Kennedy will have it at the mark back behind. Someone needed to get 5 yards behind her, but that's okay. Moves over on the near wing. Racing over to rake it up is Miranda. Miranda just underneath the goal line extended. Miranda going from the near side to the far side. Miranda back behind the goal. Miranda fires it out in front to Schway. Schway's shot just goes wide to the near side. 2:30 left to go. Pioneer with possession, but down 4. As a huge run by Portage starting at 21:36 in the second half. Has them up 10-6. Coming in, shot, and a save by Rimkus. As the clock approaches the 2-minute mark, Shui has it, as they'll have her start on the hash or the dot back behind the near side of the goal. Shui coming in with it. Shui shot. Oh, hit the post. Pulled away, and that fired over to Rimkus. 1:40 left to go. Fired ahead. Bringing it now is Swafford. Swafford firing it down. That on the ground, but a whistle, and they will say that was hit by the hand. That'll be Pioneer's ball with 1 minute 24 seconds left to go. Pioneer would love to just get at least one more in to keep make some positive things happen towards the end of this game. Kinsey inside the 8-meter arc, and that will be a whistle and a stoppage. Kinsey will have it on the center hash of the 8-meter arc for a free position. 1 minute 11 seconds left to go here in the second. Kinsey cradles the ball, comes in. Kinsey shot that goes wide to the near side. Pioneer runs it out. That'll stay Pioneer ball. 1:05 left to go here in the second. As that launched over on the far wing, Grabowski switches shoulders. Grabowski racing inside. Whistle. As Grabowski will have it on the first hash on the right of the 8-meter arc. 52 seconds left to go. Grabowski eyeing the goal. Rimkus in position. Grabowski has it popped away. 48 seconds left to go. Grabowski gets it back, as that is going to be a yellow. Pioneer will be one player up as Hensley goes over to take a knee over by the scores table. Grabowski again leans in, comes in, fires, bounce shot, saved by Rimkus. 44 seconds left to go. Rimkus yet another amazing save. That pass goes out the far sideline. That will be Pioneer ball. It's Pioneer getting opportunities late, but Rimkus has been very, very good between the pipes. Malloy heading in on the far wing, goes underneath the goal line extended. Now pops up Malloy, racing in Malloy. Trying to avoid pressure, comes outside the 12-meter fan. Malloy spins with it. Now just outside the 8-meter arc, Malloy comes in. Malloy comes to the near side shot. Again, that hit the post, went in, but a whistle first, and Malloy will have a free position with 11 seconds left as Portage will come away with the win. Malloy races in, fires it, and scores. Pioneer able to put together a 2-goal run at the end of the game as Malloy fires it in with 9 seconds left to go, but Portage with a 3-goal lead with 9 seconds.
Goal by number 1, Ellie Malloy.
As Shui in to take the draw, Alyssa Slane will go on the other side. Now they'll both be on the same side of the center circle. It's been a couple games since we've seen that. Ball set between the crosses. That popped back. Grabowski trying to get it. That pulled up. Coming ahead with it. Maya Thomas with it. Down the near numbers. 2 seconds. 1 second. And that will do it as the final score. Pioneer 7 and Portage 10. Portage now has a 3-goal win streak putting together. Pioneer will next be in action versus Bloomfield Hills at Bloomfield Hills on the 16th. That is a 7 p.m. game before having the game here for the opening or the, second round of the MHSAA playoffs. For my camera person, Christina Wiseman, my name is Mark Wiseman. Thank you so much for your support of these wonderful, amazing teams and players. Thank you, and have a wonderful, wonderful night.